June 6th, 1944. A massive armada gathers along the English Channel off the coast of France, consisting of over 3 million men, 40,000 vehicles, 6,000 planes, and 100,000 tons of material and munitions. This massive multinational force was unlike anything ever assembled by humankind, and unlike anything ever assembled since. Commanded by General Lord Bernard Montgomery and five-star General Dwight D. Eisenhower, Supreme Commander of all Allied forces within the European theater, this long-awaited invasion and the tricky deception before it led eventually to the Allies' triumph over the Nazis and helped secure America's place in the world as a force to be reckoned with.
Of the Allied Expeditionary Force, you are about to embark upon the great crusade toward which we have striven these many months. The eyes of the world are upon you. The hopes and prayers of liberty-loving people everywhere march with you. In company with our brave allies and brothers in arms on other fronts, you will bring about the destruction of the German war machine, the elimination of Nazi tyranny over the oppressed peoples of Europe, and security for ourselves in a free world. Your task will not be an easy one. Your enemy is well-trained, well-equipped, and battle-hardened. He will fight savagely. But this is the year 1944. Much has happened since the Nazi triumphs of 1940-41. The United Nations have inflicted upon the Germans great defeats in open battle, man to man. Our air offensive has seriously reduced their strength in the air and their capacity to wage war on the ground. Our home fronts have given us an overwhelming superiority in weapons and munitions of war, and placed at our disposal great reserves of trained fighting men. The tide has turned. The free men of the world are marching together to victory. I have full confidence in your courage, devotion to duty, and skill in battle. We will accept nothing less than full victory. Good luck, and let us all beseech the blessing of Almighty God upon this great and noble undertaking.
That was the voice of General Dwight D. Eisenhower in his pre-invasion address known as the Order of the Day, which was given 3 hours prior to Operation Neptune. Operation Neptune was for the actual invasion which took place between Cherbourg and Le Havre, France. The beaches along this coastline were codenamed Omaha, Sword, Juno, and Gold Beach. The invasion, however, during the month prior, the Allies initiated Operation Fortitude, meant to deceive the Germans and avoid as many casualties as possible. The main force of German power was concentrated at the Pas de Calais, the most logical point for the Allies to invade at, given that it was the shortest distance between the coast of England and the coast of France. Ergo, the Allies, in a counterintelligence move, created a fake army to convince the Germans that they were going to cross the Channel at Calais. This fake army was commanded by none other than old Blood and Guts himself, Lieutenant General George S. Patton. They employed fake radio calls, inflatable tanks, inflatable airplanes, tanks made of cardboard. They even went as far as creating fake heraldry and unit patches. There were about 150 troops or so there, simulating an entire division. This ruse convinced the Germans that the Americans and their allies were going to attack at Calais, leaving the actual invasion beaches less fortified. Even so, the stars had to quite literally align for D-Day to take place when it did. Eisenhower had meteorologists looking at the best possible times of day, what day, and the phase of the moon because of the tide, so that they could invade at low tide, seeing possible obstacles such as mines and tank barricades, and avoid them. The actual time of the day that the invasion turned out to be at was at 1000 hours for the landing of the troops. Shelling had begun previously at 0400 hours that morning. The men had been sitting off the coast in landing crafts for hours, waiting to invade. Finally, the time arrived. It was D-Day and H hour. Operation Neptune was a go.
Captain Fellows came to me, and after he was briefed, and he said, "Ray, we'll all be killed." He says, "I told the battalion commander I could take one Browning automatic rifle, get on that cliff, and keep any infantry company from landing there.
and I could see the coastline, and it was looked like a giant sunrise. It was just red and orange, and of course it was. You could see the pulsating explosions on the beaches and inland, and you could hear the steady drone of the airplanes going over.
It was about 6:15 in the morning when we dropped bombs into the English Channel trying to destroy the landing craft obstacles that were in the water. I could see all of the ships, the wakes in the water, all of the smaller boats as they were churning around, getting ready to come in.
The landing craft
beach.
approached the coast. A hail of flame hurled down upon them from said coast. You were lucky to make it out of the landing craft alive, what with the machine guns focusing on the door, so as soon as the door dropped, you died. After that, fighting on the beach was fierce. The Germans had prepared 300 yards of absolute pain for anyone who dare invade them, with everything from bunkers to barbed wires to flamethrowers, and everything in between. After 3 days of intense fighting, however, and over 100